at Silva. I mean, that's just amazing. He got rocked. The fall. He's out.
What's up, young fight lovers? Today's video is going to be your favorite, as we will be going to look back in the history of UFC with some of his famous fights. Without wasting any time, let's dive into the unmissed matches. Starting up with number 10, Weili Zhang versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk, 2020. The conflict between the two women can only be described as a war. Weili Zhang and Joanna fought like the future of the earth depended on their fight results. Thus, this was not the standard UFC battle that fans were expecting it to be. At the time, Joanna was the longest reigning champion in the division's history, but her opponent, the strawweight champion, didn't seem to be frightened by it. The two engaged in a devastating fight that took a tremendous physical toll on both participants. Joanna was left with a terrible hematoma that caused her forehead to expand significantly, while Weili's face had been completely damaged. Chinese star Zhang ultimately won in a split judgment. Did you remember this? Number 9, Dan Henderson versus Mauricio Shogun 2011. Calling a fight a draw is extremely challenging in the MMA world. Yet, if there is a battle that truly merits the title of draw, it would be this bloody and terrible duel between Henderson and Shogun. It would be among the best matches of all time if it were a championship match. Most spectators were shocked to see them both standing at the conclusion because they thrashed each other so hard. The first and second rounds of the match saw Henderson completely crush Rua, but after the second round, Rua began to gain momentum. Both of them were engaged in battle as though their lives were in danger. These were some of the elements that make this fight so amazing. Henderson ultimately won in one of the tightest matches in MMA history. The majority of spectators agreed with Dana White when he said that the battle was among the best in MMA history. After the contest, Rua committed to work harder, perform better, and perhaps conquer in a rematch. Number 8, the unforgettable TKO. Justin Gaethje versus Michael Johnson, 2017. Justin was making his MMA debut after an outstanding run as the World Series of Fighting lightweight champion. Going up against one of the best in the game was a terrible way to introduce him to the UFC. He didn't appear to hold back, though, and appeared to be just as dangerous as his opponent. He entered the octagon as he usually does and immediately began swinging without using any kind of strategy. Both of them displayed masterful striking, with each blow landing precisely where it should with the intention of rapidly ending the conflict. Johnson nearly knocked out the up-and-coming star in the opening round.
If it's a leg kick, Johnson's legs are shot. There's no way this goes.
Gaethje showed unwary toughness in the second round, which led to a TKO victory.
Justin Gaethje! An unbelievable...
Any guesses for number 7? It's the Chan Sung Jung versus Dustin Poirier, 2012. Due to the two of the best lightweight boxers, 2012 saw one of the most complete battles the world has ever seen. Dustin Poirier and Chan Sung Jung put on a show in a 4-round contest that is frequently disregarded but still merits the praise it garnered.
And you hear the audibles coming out of the Poirier away from that cage, and he's trying to do that.
The fight was unique, showcasing all strategies, abilities, and skills, and every tool in the MMA toolbox was completely utilized. Yet, Dustin's first significant defeat in the UFC came in the 4th round against the Korean Zombie.
Wow! What an unbelievable... But I tell you what, it was all set up with that upper...
Number 6, a knockout special. Cheick Kongo versus Patt, 2011. The heavyweight match that served as the main event of UFC on the year's US 4 in Pittsburgh eventually earned recognition as the year's most impressive knockout, and with good reason.
And check.
Barry struck his aggressive opponent with a powerful right hand midway through the first round. Kongo hit his knees and took punches while visibly confused and on the verge of passing out. The Kongo was then dropped once more, and Rogan finally conceded, saying, "Well, he's out. He has left." But he wasn't, in fact. At that time, a stoppage by referee Dan Moraliotis seemed to be the only kind course of action because the man was still disoriented and staggering across the cage. In fact, until the replays revealed Kongo's incredible comeback, many spectators were unaware that Kongo had actually won the bout. Kongo's victory, coupled with a following, brought the big man back into contention for the UFC Championship after an 8-month absence.
Kongo jumps on him, and that's a wrap. That is the most...
Number 5, the never to forget. Robbie Lawler versus Carlos Condit, 2016. We knew it would be an exciting fight when they said Carlos would face Lawler for the welterweight championship, but we weren't prepared for the fight we really got. Although Lawler may have been the welterweight champion, Condit was also a strong competitor, and this bout provided evidence of that.
Robbie wants to get him up against the cage again.
Both competitors delivered powerful blows to one another during the course of the 5 rounds of the bout. If they had been weaker fighters, they would not have been able to endure for as long. Looking at how individuals act after a conflict can tell you if it was good or bad. Several people believe that Carlos deserved the victory more, even though Lawler was proclaimed the winner in a split decision. Most people still recall the scene of the 2 worn-out competitors leaning against the cage after what can only be referred to as one of the greatest MMA battles in history.
By Condit. Beautiful cover head kick. Oh, seconds of this fight. Oh my God.
Who said it's normal on number 4? It's the most dangerous one. Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor 2016. Without mentioning McGregor in some way, for better or worse, very few MMA-related lists are complete, and this one is no exception.
He'll pull guard, Joe. And he is.
Although the Irish superstar is renowned for making knockout victories appear simple, he was forced to fight Nate Diaz for a grueling 25 minutes in the summer of 2016. A few months prior, Diaz and McGregor had battled. In that match, Diaz stunned everyone by submitting the Irishman in the second round to hand him his first UFC defeat. There had never been more excitement for the rematch. In the second match, which lasted 5 rounds, the 2 welterweights fought in a razor-thin duel. Diaz connected on 166 of his attempts compared to McGregor's 164 and earned 50 minutes of control time on the mat, landing significantly more important blows. McGregor, however, was behind the more critical moments of the matchup. He downed his foe 3 times. The judges obviously had a difficult task on their hands. In the end, they granted McGregor a majority decision win, meaning 2 judges scored it in his favor, and the third scored the bout a draw. Moving ahead with number 3, Jon Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson, 2013. In the view of many fans, Jon Jones was already invincible by the time he entered the ring with Alexander Gustafsson in 2013. After defeating Mauricio Shogun by knockout in 2011, the American successfully defended the championship 6 times, defeating Quinton Rampage Jackson, Lyoto Machida, Rashid Evans, Vitor Belfort, and Chael Sonnen in the process. Gustafsson simply didn't seem to have a chance after those performances, but the unheralded Swede ultimately gave Jones the most difficult battle of his professional career. With his deft movement, he matched the dominant champion and startled onlookers by putting him down. It served as a good illustration of an underdog rising to the challenge. Unfortunately for Gustafsson, Jones ultimately won by unanimous decision, but both athletes will go down in MMA history thanks to their performances in the fight. Number 2, the 15-minute win. Forrest Griffin versus Stephan Bonnar, 2005. This archaic masterpiece was revered as the founding father of the modern UFC because it helped raise mixed martial arts, MMA, to a new level. Griffin and Bonnar were in the ideal position to bridge this gap because the light heavyweight match took place at a time when the UFC was having trouble becoming popular. In a 15-minute spectacle, the 2 put on one of the best performances, demonstrating their will for victory. All 3 judges gave Forrest Griffin the victory in the bout, and he immediately received a 6-figure contract. More people became interested in MMA as a result of this battle, and hundreds of new stars were made possible. Heading ahead with the top, number 1, Robbie Lawler versus Rory MacDonald, 2015. On July 11, 2015, Lawler and MacDonald fought again, this time at UFC 189, in what is still regarded as the greatest title battle in MMA history. The battle sputtered to a halt early on, but picked up steam in the second round after Lawler's left hand impacted MacDonald, who looked to be in trouble with only 90 seconds remaining in the round. In the third frame, MacDonald started to succeed just as it looked like he might be about to lose. He even succeeded in wobbling the champion with a head kick. Then, when he noticed the smell of blood, he went in for the kill, but Lawler, who was leaning against the fence, was able to survive the flurry of elbows and knees that were directed at him. Before the 4th round ended, and they stood across from one another in one of the coldest UFC moments, both guys were covered in blood and were fighting instinctively. When the bell rang to conclude the round, Lawler, who had a portion of his lip missing, spat blood to the floor and remained there staring at his opponent, who was also a mess by this point. Both men kept their gaze fixed on each other until they were dragged away by their respective corners. MacDonald, who had a broken nose, stared back. These are some of the most famous UFC battles of all the times. Comment down your thoughts, leave a like, and share this video with your friends. Subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one and stay updated with us by turning in the notifications. See you guys again in the next uploads.